Hey guys, welcome to the Sustainable Life Habits channel. Today, I'm walking you guys through a workout. We're gonna give you guys some workout techniques. We're gonna give you what it's like to go through a workout with myself. So today on the agenda, we have, what do we got here? We got seated cable rows, we got some chest press, and we got some technique squats, which we're gonna do some primers for. So stay tuned, let's get started.
I'm blowing up. And if you don't know, I'm blowing up like you thought I would. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. And if you don't know, time to get paid, blow up like.
All right, guys. So our first one is the seated cable rows. This is one of my favorite ones. Gonna give you guys a few techniques on how to engage the back properly, making sure it's not a bicep-dominated exercise. So let's get it. We're gonna be doing 4 sets, 6 to 8 reps. All right, let's go. All right, guys, so when we do these, first set on no matter whenever we do, always light, keep it simple. Focus on muscle engagement. All right, first set, super light set. Like I said, the whole purpose of these sets is just that first one, make sure you can feel the lats engage, make sure we're not dominating with the biceps or anything like that. Should have a little bit of a back pump getting started. Take a rest, take a breather, get ready for the next set. All right, so set number 2, had a rest. We should be resting maybe, I don't know, about 2 minutes or so. And then from there, to rest 2 minutes, drop that pin a little bit. And again, we're not going super heavy on our second set. Again, just make sure we're getting that proper engagement. Go a little bit heavier on set 3 and 4. All right, here we go. Oh man, feel the back pumping. So one of the best techniques is when you guys are going through this, making sure you're always pulling, not by your wrists, making sure you're always pushing with the elbows. It's just gonna help engage the lats a little bit better. How are you guys? So set number 3, we're gonna be dropping the pin just a little bit again. This is where our heavier sets come into place for set number 3 and 4. So let's drop that pin. Of course, as we get into the heavier sets, we're also going to be dropping our reps to that lower end. We're doing 8 to 10 in those first couple of sets. This next one, we're going to be shooting for more like the 6 to 8 range, depending on how heavy it goes. All right, main goal, make sure you guys keep control during your exercise. All right, so that was a little bit lighter than I was expecting. That's why we went 8 reps instead of the 6. Because we went on the high end, we're gonna drop that pin a little bit more, go a little bit heavier for our next one. That's our 4th and final set, so take your 2 minutes rest up, let's get that next one. All right, guys, so we rested 2 minutes, we're ready to go, we're feeling good. We've got a little bit of a pump going on in the back. This is our heavy, or our top end set. We're gonna be shooting for 6 quality reps on this. If we start to lose the quality or we start to lose the control, we're going to drop it down a little bit in a rep range, but the goal is 6. And that is it for that. All right, guys, so next we have our chest press machine. We're using the plate loader. This is one of my favorite pieces of equipment. Gonna be doing the same thing, 4 sets. First 2 we're gonna keep fairly light. On the 3rd and the 4th, we're gonna push it a bit. So, all right, here we go. All right, so the biggest thing on this, a very common thing is when people do a chest press and they don't hit their chest properly. So on these, you don't want them high. As soon as the higher you get it, the more shoulder you're gonna hit. And these, we're gonna keep them fairly low. We got our bench already adjusted on these. So as we go through them, we're just gonna focus on engaging that chest. Now we should see the pecs engaging on them. Remember, first 2 sets, just really focusing muscle engagement, mind-muscle connection. So you guys should feel it. You should feel the chest already starting to pump off after just that one set alone. You should feel that really at chest engaging. You should not have sore shoulders, like I said. Got the sore shoulders. It's usually an indicator of we're too high. It's a very common thing you see on the bench press is just where people are benching. You see them benching like this with the elbows high. It's 100% hidden shoulders. Remember, his stuff is all for the chest. Make sure you see the pecs engaging as you're repping through these. All right, we're gonna keep it light. We're gonna do another set and just a single plate. Take the ego out of it. Let's make sure we've got some good quality reps going on. All right, that was nice and light. We're gonna throw on another plate here for set number 3 and see how that goes. I'll gauge it from there. So one more technique to help you guys out. Anytime you're doing some sort of type of chest press, a lot of exercises, even the back. A lot of us, even myself, you're hunched over, got the forward shoulder going on. It's just from all that technology that we have going on all the time. We need to really make sure that we arch our back. Just what it's going to do is it's really going to put a lot of emphasis on the chest just by arching that back and making sure we're not our shoulders rolling forward. So as soon as you arch it, it's going to push the chest out. It's going to keep those, it's going to make sure that the chest is a little bit more engaged. All right, end at set 3. That was significantly heavier. We hit the higher end, we hit 8 reps. We're not gonna bump the weight down this time, or we're not gonna be bumping it up. Then keep it with this. Felt a good engagement on the chest. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. The reps only count if they're quality reps. So making sure that chest is engaged. Something we see, I mean, we got 2 minutes to rest here, so let's talk about it. A lot of times we would just push out the reps without focusing on the quality of the reps. And at the end of the day, the quality of reps matter. Think of it like this. If I was to hit 100 reps of these and 90 of them hit my shoulders, am I really getting a benefit of doing a chest press that day? So as opposed to maybe hitting 50 reps, but making sure each and every one of those reps hits my chest. One's gonna significantly develop my chest. The other one's gonna significantly develop the shoulders in a very unintentional way that we want to see. So let's take anything away from there. Quality reps matter. Form overweight every single time. So that's our 2 minutes. Let's go back, finish our set number 4. We're gonna be shooting at 6-8 quality reps. Let's get it. All right, you guys, chest is pumping. Something I always like to do, just making sure we go with the slow descent or the eccentric motion. I like to keep that nice and slow. The big thing about the eccentric motion, really make sure that we're focusing on that chest, puts a whole nother good tension on it. That's what we're looking for, making sure we get that good connection. All right, you guys, after our technique squats, we'll be taking it a little bit lighter, but I'm telling you guys, these are one of the best. Before we do that, let's go hit some primers and head over to the squat rack. All right, so we're gonna hit our primers. I'm still a little gassed from the chest press. I'm gonna be hitting some primers. So before we even get into the primers, what are a primer? A primer is basically like a stretch where it's specifically targeted towards the exercises that we're doing. Now, being that we're doing some squats, we wanna make sure that we open up the hips. Like most people do, it's a very common thing that we got the tight hips. If we got tight hips, we're not gonna be hitting depth. If we got tight ankles or poor ankle mobility, we will not be hitting our depth on our squats. And that is the number one thing we're looking for as we're doing them, especially in the technique squats. So I'm gonna show you guys one of my favorite ways to prime. I'm gonna start off with the 90-90s. All right, so doing these, what we're looking for, 90 degrees, roughly, right? Now, as we do these, we're gonna take that other hand. So we're gonna start by isolating that right hip. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring that chest right down to the knee. We're gonna just remember, sometimes when we see people, we start to like roll the back. The idea is keep the back straight and just bring it straight down with bringing our chest here. It's not about rolling the back, it's about keeping the back straight, bringing it down to the knee. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna bring it down. You should feel it pulling in the glute and the hips. And we're gonna hold that for about 10 seconds or so. I keep pushing down as much as you can, and we're gonna let it go. And again, we're gonna come back, we're gonna hold that and do it again for another 10 to 15 seconds. Now, depending on how tight your hips are, you might wanna go and do this a third time. Hold a little bit longer, whatever you gotta do. What you will find, one of the most common things I get for feedback from these primers is how people have one hip that's specifically tighter than the other. Very, very common thing. So same thing, go roughly 90 degrees, take that back hand, spin it around, work on bringing that chest right down to the knee, keeping that back straight. (10 to 15 seconds), hold it. Let it go. Take a breather. Sometimes these are the things that make me break a sweat more than the actual exercise itself, but well worth it. 10 to 15 seconds hold. All right. All right, you guys, that's it for that. Let's head over to the squat rack and get started. All right, so the biggest thing with the rack height is when you unrack it, you want to make sure, so we're going to hop right under it. Knees should be bent, and as they're fully extended, we should see it, that bar just fit over that lift. So let's test it out. Perfect rack height. When you re-rack it, the idea is why this is a little bit bigger. When you come in fully extended, you should be able to hit it right there, drop it straight down, just barely make it over there. That's what we're looking for. So let's get some plates on there. All right, guys, so when we're doing these, biggest question is, how are technique squats different than regular squats? Very good question. When we're doing technique squats, there's really only one thing we care about, and that's technique. The weight does not matter. In fact, we're probably not gonna go any heavier than no plates. We just wanna make sure that we keep it just low depth, right? Full control. These reps are gonna be significantly slower than we typically do 4-2-2, which just means we're looking 4-second descent, 2 seconds extension, and we're gonna hold at the bottom for 2 seconds. So 4, 2, and then 2 up. So we're gonna be hitting, we'll see 6 to 8 of these, but the biggest thing is, make sure those legs stay engaged, making sure we got the hips deep, making sure we got great mobility. So let's check it out. All right. What I noticed is there's a lot of shoulder mobility issues that can keep us from hitting a proper squat. If you have some own bands, I'm gonna show you guys a couple things we can do to fix that. So it's a great thing, same thing. I know this is light, but these technique squats will gas you. Just focusing on that technique, keeping them slow. So red bands are typically the lightest. That's what we want. The reason we work on shoulders, even though it's a squat movement, shouldn't be any shoulders involved. It's just the mobility that we're looking for. But we're holding that bar, what you find is sometimes that bar twists. A very common thing, you see that bar twisted. What that's an indicator of is typically we got a shoulder mobility issue. So all we're gonna do is you're gonna work on pivoting the elbow, open that rotator cuff, and hold it. Do anywhere from 3 to 5 of these. Hold them, and you should feel the shoulders opening up. Remember, just pivoting at the elbow. Hold it. It's as simple as that. It's simple movements, just gonna increase our shoulder mobility. That's our 2 minutes right there. Let's hit another set. I'm telling you guys, these are more difficult than the heavy reps. The whole idea of these, I mean, they're simple. The whole idea of these is you just want to be in control of your full rep, whether you're locked out, whether you're at the bottom, full control the whole entire time. Probably the most important part of a workout. It's a 2-liter water bottle. Highly recommend drinking bare minimum 2 liters of water before you get to her. As you're at the gym, I drink about 1 liter on the way too, mixed with a little bit of pre-workout. From there on, for the rest of the day, it's just straight water. I like to do bare minimum 2 liters while we're at the gym though. It just helps with the joints. It's actually going to increase your pump. And it's a really easy time to get it in. We should be hitting 1 gallon, 4 liters a day anyway, so might as well bang it as much out as you can early on. So one of the things I'll show you guys, I'll show you from the front here. As you go through, you just want to make sure that as you're watching, it's looking, we're gonna make sure we're engaging with the lats. We're gonna make sure we're braced with the core. So I'll get you guys to head up here and I'll show you what that looks like. So as you're going through, you stand right underneath the bar for this one. So you should be on an angle. And as you come down, you should be able to just stand straight up. Walk it out, find your stance. So the biggest thing from here when we're going, take a breath. I'm going to tighten that core as if somebody's about to punch us in the core. So keep it tight, every rep. So our first movement in these, break with the hips, to let the hips go, and then the knees will come eventually. The other thing about these, you guys, so you notice I'm not looking straight up. I don't want that kink neck. Find a place to focus on. Brace the core. Make sure you hit depth. So as you're doing your reps, one thing I always like to tell people, the most dangerous part of the reps, arguably, some people might disagree, is when you're racking and unracking. Why? Because we don't focus about it. Sometimes when I go to unrack, we're standing way back here, and we're in a very awkward position as we unrack. And then of course, as we re-rack, instead of walking it back in, what we tend to do is flop forward, which puts a lot of pressure on their lower back. So just remember, the rep doesn't start once you're walked out. The rep starts from the moment you unrack it to the moment you re-rack it. Very important to avoid injury. All right, so we're waiting, better wait our 2 minutes. I'm telling you guys, these will gas you. That is just maybe my cardio shot. I mean, it's winter time. Should probably do a better job keeping that cardio in shape. All right. It's roughly like 2 minutes. Let's finish up this last rep, this last set of reps, and that is it. So like I said, the rep starts when you unrack it. Get right underneath the bar, work at standing straight up. And then we're not walking straight in. We're not flopping forward. Bend the knees. All right, you guys. That's it. We're gonna unload these plates. That's it for technique squats. I'm gonna do a little bit of abs. And that's all we got on the agenda for today. Make sure you always wipe down your equipment. It's just a thing of respect. These gyms are kind enough to let us film, do our thing. All right, that. It's important to show a little gym etiquette, show your support, just be a nice person. What's that? Yeah. If you're surprised how many times I leave my phone places at the gym. Gotta make sure I'm filling up. That's why I tell everybody to track on their phone, and so you don't lose your phone or leave it at anywhere in the gym. This is simple. We're just gonna be doing some hanging leg raises. We're just gonna do 4 quick sets. That's it. Again, it's not about the reps. I cannot stress this much. I cannot, wish I could speak. I cannot stress this enough. It's not about the reps. It's about the quality of reps. Making sure every single time you hit quality reps. So we're doing hanging leg raises. That just means we're hinging from the hips, doing our best not to swing. If you're a beginner, you're probably gonna swing. As you get a little bit more advanced, you can eliminate that swing. Just making sure you feel it right in the core. So we're only hitting about 6 to 8. Like I said, it's all about core engagement. So, I don't even know if I can reach this. I need cheat to get up there. All right, we're sticking with 6 reps for that first set. Probably gonna stick with 6 reps for the whole set. Telling you guys, it's just a core engagement. We don't need to keep hammering extra reps if we can really feel those first ones truly engage, if they're doing their job properly. So, even on abs, get to the abs. Usually we do abs last, typically because they're less of a risk than more of your compound movements. So even still, it is always just important to do our rest periods, stuff like that. Just making sure you're just not always hammering. It's a common thing where people just hammer through exercises as quick as possible. It's not about getting a sweat. It's just making sure every rep you do counts, right? Making sure you have muscle engagement. When we did the back, we made sure the lats, rhomboids, everything is properly engaged. Same thing with the chest press. We make sure it's hitting the chest, not shoulders, Z's. We want to make sure that it's not necessarily an arm or a back exercise. It's specifically to target the core. All right, let's get another one done. This is another underrated exercise. I'm telling you guys though, as far as abs go, hanging variations, hanging knee ups, hanging leg raises, toe pokes, toe to bar, any of those exercises, I swear that those are the most effective, at least in my experience. Those are the ones that really make the abs pop, that really work the core. It also really helps to just stretch them out. But there's a lot of other exercises that I'd probably rather do than the hanging variations. But I'm telling you guys, for me anyways, this is where I get the best benefit of it. It's only 6 reps. We're doing 4 sets of those, 24 reps total. That is it. It is an extremely effective core exercise. All right, let's hit another set. And feeling it. All right, guys, since this is our last exercise here for the day, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you guys want to see. Let us know if this was effective for you. Let us know what you got out of the video. Let us know what you want to see changes. But always happy to hear your feedback. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys' support. Can't do this without you guys. At the end of the day, doing this for you guys. Let me know what you guys want to see. All right, let's finish it up. All right, you guys, that's it for the day. I mean, it was a bit of a longer workout today. Typically, we'll only do about 45 minutes, but took the day overall. Thanks for checking in. Catch you guys at the next one.